Hi, welcome back to Devoxx UK 2018. I'm joined by Heather Wilde. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, I'm happy to be here, Dan.
You've actually been doing quite a lot of talking for us over the years, and you're doing a couple of really different talks this time. You're talking about how apps are making us dumber, maybe?
Yes.
And are we part of the problem as developers? Are we dumbing society down? What's the premise?
So the premise of that talk is how clean architecture in general, like flat UIs, are really taking the choice away from our consumers. So the users of our apps we want people to just swipe, and they're doing it in such a way that they're not even paying attention anymore. So there's actually a really funny meme that it's so true that people are like, oh no, I accidentally swiped right when I meant to swipe left, because they're just doing this like mindlessly, and they're not even thinking anymore because it's just become such an easy thing for them to do. It's subconscious almost, and that's part of really good design. If we're creating applications that are almost subconscious, then we're doing a really good job. So by taking choice away from users, we're actually helping people to not get decision fatigue. Whereas, like when you're using Netflix, for example, right now, like it takes 45 minutes to pick something on Netflix because we have so many choices that we're presented with, which is poor UI, great data for Netflix because we get to thumbs up and thumbs down pretty much on everything that we see. But on a really good app, like Tinder, for example, which everybody now copies, all you have to do is left, right, and then, ooh, you got a match. Great. So, apps are making us dumber in the sense that we're, like, a really good app doesn't make us have to make a conscious choice and allows us to get through our day quicker.
Yeah, I like the concept and the adage of don't make me think. Yeah, so that's interesting. But you're doing another talk that's very different, which I think really hits at the heart of the startup culture, which we have both over in Las Vegas and America in the valleys, but also over by the roundabout here. We have a lot of startups, and you're talking about a transition to becoming an entrepreneur?
Absolutely. So one of the things about a lot of developers, at some point in their career, they think about, if I just had my own business, this is what it would look like, and it'd be wonderful, and I'd make tons of money, I'd be able to retire, and what I'm giving a talk on is like the realities of like, is your idea a business-worthy thing, and how you can actually test that, and what goes into creating a business plan or a business model canvas, like the lean approach to trying this out without even necessarily having to quit your job, and finding out if you're the type of person that should be running a business, or if you are a company man, like somebody that wants to have that 3-week vacation every year and a solid health plan and things like that.
So I don't have to bet my house on success if I want to roll the dice.
Exactly. Like there's so many different ways to skin this cat, as it were, and you can also be successful in your career by not having to have $1 billion business. You never have to take investment from somebody, and you can still try out all these ideas. Like you can go down to the local hackathon and meet people at a startup weekend and try your side projects, and still work at Google. You know? Like, or even some companies have entrepreneur days where you get to hack on things for your own company. So there's ways to have that outlet. So that's what that talks about.
That sounds really interesting. And there's also another path. We see a lot of junior developers come along here, eyes wide open like little kittens, going, what the hell is all this stuff? Senior developers who are like, teach me stuff I don't know. And tech leads saying, well, actually my next step isn't technological. There's this path through, say, perhaps become a CTO. As a CTO yourself, and also as a mentor to other CTOs, what advice would you give to someone who is much lower on that path, that sees that in their distant future? What can they be doing now in order to help them prepare for that?
The easiest thing and the hardest thing is the same thing that I recommend, and it's get used to not touching the code. Like, because as a developer, we want to be doing all the time. We want to be in that code. We want to see every check-in. We want our name on all of those things, and we want to feel like we've contributed. And as a manager, it's difficult to feel that if you're not the one that's got your name on that release, if you're not the person that's got all those check-ins in the code. And so the easiest part is to start to think about, what will my life be like if I'm not the one writing the code. So to start doing peer reviews of other people's code is the first way to get there. And then to start thinking about how you can actually give advice to people, which pulls you further and further back from actual writing of code.
Yeah.
And then you start to realize that you're not doing as much writing anymore, and you're more coaching people. And a lot of the job is planning ahead and thinking ahead to what you're going to create, and doing a lot of research about that, which is where you need to be. So rather than all of the things that you already knew from school, from boot camps, from even just day-to-day coding, it's now going to be all of the things that you see on the horizon. You have to hold that in your head and look forward. And it's a mind shift but it all starts with staying out of the code.
So does that mean that I'm obviously not going to be as technically sharp as I used to be? Does that mean as a CTO I'm not going to be doing any coding anymore?
Not necessarily. So for me, the way that I try to do it is, like, I actually, when I take a vacation, I'll actually learn a new, I'll keep myself sharp by, like, writing a new app on the side that has nothing to do with work. I do code reviews for my teams, I participate in check-ins for certain things, like, so I can always do spot checks if we need to, and whenever all hands are on deck, my hands are in there as well. But you, as a CTO, you should not be looking at one particular thing. Your job is to look at the whole, because if you're only on one thing, you're going to miss all of the stuff that's over here. And so you'll be really ineffectual if you're only...
So think bigger, think broader.
Yes.
And apply yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I found that incredibly useful. Hopefully you do too. Thank you for joining us. We've been at Devoxx UK.